How's it going, everyone? Happy New Year. Nick Marro, DFS here with DFS Jayhawk. It is Thursday. As always, with Occupy Fantasy, we will be breaking down tonight's main slates on both DraftKings and FanDuel. We have a four-game main slate on both sites tonight, but the slates do differ. The DK slate locks in its normal time, I think, 7 p.m. Eastern. FanDuel is going to lock an hour early. Usually we have the late game on FanDuel, not on DK. That's actually opposite tonight. The late game is going to be DK only. So yeah, bit of a nuance to this one, but the way we break things down is game by game. So the information should be actionable for you either way. Jayhawk, what are your initial takes going in here? I'm kind of pissed my Nets aren't going to be on the DK slate. Might have to get a little bit more on FanDuel today.
Yeah, man, why couldn't DK put the best team on the slate with the Brooklyn Nets here? But yeah, no, excited. New Year, happy 2026. Excited to break down the first slate of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Shouts out Heath and Cards. Appreciate you guys being here. We got another Nick in here, Nick Bass as well. So appreciate you, my man. But yeah, let's get into it. Game by game, first game on the slate, we do have the Houston Rockets taking on the Nets. Rockets heavy favorites on the road. 216.5-point total is pretty low. Nets have been playing better defense, which is a little bit surprising. Really well-coached team. I think it just kind of speaks to the quality of Jordi Fernandez as an NBA coach. But yeah, obviously they're still going to be kind of outmatched here. Houston's been excellent. Steven Adams is questionable, as is Clint Capella. Tari Eason is questionable, as is Alperen Sengun. So we're going to need some of this news. Almost the entire front court is questionable. I tend to think most of them play, but definitely something to keep an eye on. If Sengun were to sit, we'd probably see Adams start again. If Adams were to sit, maybe Capella could slide into the rotation. But again, all these guys are questionable right now, so we kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it revenge. Durant definitely has some fans here in Brooklyn for his short time with the team. I don't know that he's going to want to do anything extra, but I don't mind him in this spot at 9,100. I think he's pretty much reasonably priced, pretty much where he should be. But then, yeah, not available on DK. Actually, no, I take that back. If you're playing DK, it's a showdown slate. We don't really talk too much about showdown. But yeah, again, Thompson looks good. Durant looks good. If Sengun's in, he looks good. Those are kind of the big three here. Jabari Smith has missed some time. With him coming back, it could cut into Eason. Eason's so good point per minute, though. I'm still comfortable paying 5,100 for him as long as he's available. And if we get any combination of these guys out, Reed Shepard's going to become appealing, even as the first guy off the bench. Any extra minutes for him go a really long way, given his high usage rate when he is on the floor. So I like the matchup. I think this game could stay competitive enough that Houston will play most of four quarters, especially if they end up resting a guy or two. But kind of a tough team to break down until we get that news, Jayhawk. What are your initial takes here on the Houston Rockets tonight in Brooklyn?
Yeah, so shout out to HB. I just saw this as well. Adams and Capella just got rolled out, I think, like 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
And then Sengun is a game time decision. So we'll have to wait and see on Sengun. But as it sits right now, I think Kevin Durant looks fine in tournaments. The chalk play here was Tari Eason, like you mentioned, pretty much 30% owned. I think he's pretty solid on FanDuel at his price. So I really like Tari Eason. And then if Sengun plays, he should play a bunch of minutes here. They just really lack the size in the front court. So love Sengun. And then I did kind of want to look at maybe like Dorian Finney-Smith. I don't love him as a player, but they're going to need some extra bodies to play. So did you have any interest in maybe taking a stab down low with a DFS Finney-Smith?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, too. He was on the Nets pretty much the whole time that KD was. So if you want to play into that narrative, I mean, we could lead into a little bit of it in that regard. I don't mind him in like a showdown, but honestly, on like the full four-game slate, I don't have a ton of interest. He's a 3-and-D guy, like 15% usage when he's out there, and that's on the high end. Like, I'm giving him a few extra percentage. I just don't like to play guys like that knowing that they're not going to do much when they have the ball. So I don't know. I don't think it's crazy in showdown if you're trying to pay up at a few extra spots, but yeah, it's a thin play for me. I don't even think he'd start necessarily. If Sengun's in, if Sengun's out, they could go, I don't know. They probably have to start him, I guess. But again, I just wouldn't feel great about it because the usage has been so low for him on this team. But yeah, if we get Sengun out, maybe I'd change my mind. More than anything, I'd probably just want to get more Durant and Thompson, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think Sengun likely plays there. They're going to need him out there. He can play.
Yeah, I mean, if both the other bigs are out, it'd be kind of weird. I mean, Sengun's been out since Christmas. And as a pretty big favorite here, they don't exactly need him. But, I mean, the Nets pretty tough in the front court with Claxton and those guys. Going to use that as an opportunity to segue here into the Brooklyn Nets. Igor Dielman finally playing really well. He's suddenly out with back soreness. Haywood Highsmith's out. Terrence Mann. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be out here tonight as well. MPJ's been playing excellent. He's been dominating this team in usage. So him not being on the floor is extremely significant. That's a big reason this spread is so wide, even if we do get word that Sengun's out. So I think that's kind of a true 50-50. Definitely going to have to keep an eye on that. I want to say this first and foremost. Claxton without MPJ on the floor this year has been bad. It kind of creates the opportunities for defenses to kind of hone in on him, not running as much pick and roll. He's not as open as he is, obviously, with MPJ on the floor. So that's going to be a step back there. At the same time, they're getting Cam Thomas back into the starting lineup in all likelihood. It's just he's been playing limited minutes. He's super efficient, really high usage rate when he is on the floor. But if we have him capped around 25, that's honestly like – hopeful in some regard, I think. He's only played 19 and 18 respectively in his first 2 games back. So it's tricky to get to Nets here, if I'm being completely honest. The guy I like the best, and I don't think it's going to surprise you, is probably Danny Wolf here coming off the bench. I just think they're going to need him to play a few extra minutes just because the rotation is so thin tonight. Agor, starting point guard, he's out. Thomas, even though he's in there, is limited. MPJ, who plays almost 40 a night, is going to be out here as well. So while it's different positions, I think it's going to open up some minutes for Wolf, who could pretty much play anywhere on the floor. Good passer, kind of does it all. But yeah, man, it's a tricky situation. The one guy I trust the most is probably Noah Clowney. We've seen when he has extra usage, he can put up big numbers, a little bit scoring dependent, but at the same time, I do think he's going to get some open looks here. So I like Clowney. I like Wolf, even if Wolf's coming off the bench. I would say be careful with Thomas and Powell unless we get word that they're not on minutes caps, because we have not seen them extend it to 30 minutes this year. So while I really like the talent of a Cam Thomas and a Drake Powell, I just don't know that we can rely on those minutes. So Claxton, I'm taking a step back because there's no MPJ. I really, really do like Clowney and Wolf, though. But this is a tricky spot, man. Tough team. Kind of weird that they're resting some of their better players here. But I'm guessing they play tomorrow or something like that. It's probably for scheduling reasons. But what are your take on the Nets here? Maybe I'm not as disappointed they aren't on DK now that I'm talking through it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's kind of a tough spot, tough overall matchup as well. So I'm with you. I think Nick Claxton, kind of tough spot here, and he's played historically worse without MPJ. So I'm with you. I'm going to be under on him. And then I think Danny Wolf's pretty solid. The one thing that kind of threw me off, though, was the low FanDuel value and OF index rating. I think he's still pretty solid, but definitely something to account for there. And then Drake Powell, I kind of didn't want to hear your take more because I think I haven't really heard of him too much, but he looks like a decent player, but didn't want to hear more of a take on him. And then,
yeah, I mean, we have time today. Usually I try not to spend too much time on my Nets because I can get out of hand, but I'll talk about these rookies. We're getting questions about Nolan Traore as well. Drake Powell from UNC, really talented two-way player. He can score, he can shoot, he can drive it to the hoop. But like I said, the issue with him has just been the minutes. I think maybe they could give him some extra run here. He did play 27 back in November against Detroit. I think that came in a blowout. That's his season high. We have him tonight at 25. I think that's pretty fair. He's cheap enough that you can mix him in. I think if he starts, we could feel a little bit better about it. But not historically a high usage player. He kind of plays off ball, but he can get rebounds. He can get some stock. So I don't mind mixing him in. But again, the minutes give me some pause here. We're getting questions about Nolan Traore here as well. There is a world where he starts at point guard. And if he does, I like him a lot. It's just the same exact question. It's how many minutes is Jordy willing to run these guys? Traore spent most of the season down in the G League. Pretty good two-way player. He plays defense, which is more than could be said for some of these rookies coming into the league. Decent passer. Does a decent job working his way to the hoop. Not going to make a ton of threes. He did go 3 for 4 last game out. I think that's his career high. Not that it's been a very long career, but the starting lineup matters here. It's just tough for me to rely on Jordy to give these guys extended minutes, especially when they have guys like Jalen Wilson, Tyrese Martin on the bench. Not that I want to be playing them heavily, but I do think he's going to be more willing to kind of run them into the ground here with other guys out. Zaire as well. So I love the talent of a Drake Powell. I think Traore, if he starts at point guard, is really interesting. It's just, what are the minutes going to look like? And I don't think we can project them above like 25 with any sort of confidence. So they're cheap enough to mix in. It's just, you probably don't want your night relying on these guys, especially in a tough matchup. But again, always happy to talk up these Nets as much as possible. Again, Clowney's the guy I trust the most. We've got him for 33 minutes. That leads the team here in projections. Claxton behind him at 31. So again, it's just a question of minutes. If I was confident they played 30, I'd be telling people to load up on Powell and Traore. I just can't say that with any sort of confidence.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Clowney looks the safest. He also does have the highest FanDuel value, so good confirmation there as well.
Yep, absolutely. Stacks in here saying Happy New Year. Appreciate you, my man. HB Cards keeping us updated with some of the Houston news. Nick asking about Nolan. I think he could get 20 fantasy points. I think that's a pretty fair projection, honestly, in 26 minutes. He's not quite a point per minute producer, but he's going to see some extra usage tonight. Shouts out Unicorn here. Just Fistula, appreciating the deep dive. When it comes to the Nets, I'll probably dive as deep as anyone in the industry. It's my team. There's not many Nets fans in the world, but again, if you guys want a history lesson on me, I'm from Jersey. I was a Nets fan back when I was a little kid, and they had Jason Kidd. We'll talk about his team in a little bit with Dallas, who's also on this slate. But enough about this first game. We could go back if that lineup comes out. I'll be happy to kind of break things down further. But the next game we have here at 7 p.m., this game is on both slates, so keep that in mind. We got the Miami Heat taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons favored at home, 236.5 point total. Miami loves to list their entire team on the injury report, whether they're in or out. Bam, available. Fontecchio, available. Hero out. Kashad Johnson, available. Jovic, available. Pele Larson and Terry Rozier are both out. Drew Smith's available. Khalil Ware's available. And Jahir Young is out. It sounds stupid saying these guys are all available. Blame Eric Spoelstra if you want. That's a product of what he likes to do with these injury reports. It's funny. I think that he got in trouble once, and then to be a petty prick, he now lists every single player every day, which is annoying for us in the content business. But still no Hero. They're pretty healthy otherwise, though. I think you could get to Powell here. He's kind of been the guy who's seen the most usage, even with Bam in the lineup. Bam here, I mean, he's fine, but again, kind of priced where he should be. I said this yesterday, on these slates where we have teams that are missing a lot of players, it's tough to get to the healthier teams. So it's kind of tough for me to get to Miami here. I do think Ware's going to start. I don't mind mixing him into my exposures. But again, with Bam on the floor next to him, that does cut into his upside just a bit. The price is up on him as well. My favorite play here for Miami is going to be Powell. Don't mind mixing in a little bit of Hawkes off the bench. Jovic is fine, but kind of similar to those Nets. Don't know what to expect with the minutes. Wiggins, the price is up. I'd like him a little bit more if he was a little cheaper. But yeah, I think he can make a case for any of the starters here. The one that's really catching my eye, though, is Powell, just because he has been seeing heavy usage. Jayhawk, how do you feel about the Heat here on the road in Detroit?
Yeah, so I think the Heat all look pretty much fine. I'm with you. I think Norman Powell, probably the best point per dollar play here at 7K. So like Powell, pretty good amount. And then I think both Bam and Khalil are fine to mix in tournaments. The matchup isn't necessarily fantastic, but I think it's pretty solid. So fine mixing them in. And then Hawkes, you mentioned, always does have a ceiling off the bench. So if you want to mix in some Hawkes in tournaments, I think it's fine. But it's mainly Powell for me.
Yep, right there with you, man. And again, all the starters look fine. It's just tough to say anyone really stands out in a big way. Over on the Detroit side of things, no Tobias Harris tonight. Karis LeVert's going to be out as well. Other than that, no one too significant that we really need to talk through. But with Harris out, Isaiah Stewart probably slides into the starting lineup here. The Heat, obviously starting Ware and Adebayo, are going to be a pretty big team. I think they're going to try to match that with Stewart. So Stewart starting, a few extra minutes for him can certainly go a long way on FanDuel. 4,700 for him feels too cheap. Don't mind playing him on DK either. Again, because he has forward eligibility. So Isaiah Stewart probably slides in the starting lineup. He looks pretty good. Obviously, Cade is Cade on a limited slate. One of the best pay-ups available, even in a matchup with Miami. I like him a lot. Thompson, I mean, the minutes have been kind of all over the place. He's been really productive. Kind of interesting discrepancy in the ownership, though. If we look at him on DK, sub 10% owned. On FanDuel, he's 36. Like, that feels crazy to me. I think he's over-owned on FanDuel, maybe a little under-owned on DK. But if I'm getting to anyone here, it's probably Stewart first, just because of the price. And I do like Cade if you can afford him. Other than that, it's kind of tricky. I mean, Holland could see a few extra minutes. Talented young player with LeVert out, but he's been kind of capped in his minutes as well. It's funny. These coaches don't want to let these rookies run, even though it would probably be best for their development. You think these young kids would be in shape too. It's kind of goofy. But again, I don't think Holland's crazy. I can't really recommend him with a ton of confidence. Jaden Ivey off the bench obviously is scoring dependent as anyone in the league. He spiked some upside a little bit recently if you want to mix him in, but no real priorities for me here. I do like Stewart and Cunningham a lot, though. Jayhawk, how you feel about Detroit?
Yeah, great breakdown there, Nick. I think the forwards here, Stewart and Thompson, are both very much under-owned on DK. But in particular, I think Stewart, very good play at his ownership at 5K. So I really like Stewart in this high game total. And then no issues with Cade. 28% owned, 237 game total. Fantastic spot for Cade. He's been very good the past few games. So love Cade in tournaments. Then the guy I did want to talk about here, Nick, is Marcus Sasser. He did kind of eat into Jaden Ivey's rotation last game. I don't think he's a crazy stab. Ivy obviously super chalk last slate out. I think Sasser could be interesting in 20 minutes. And then Ron Holland as well. He looked pretty good last game. I'd be fine taking stabs at either Holland or Sasser. How do you feel about those two?
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy. And shouts out Unicorn Love, one of our regulars in here. He's been bringing up Sasser's name as well for pretty good reason. It's tricky. The minutes for their backup guards have been all over the place. And this goes back to even before LeVert was back. Dennis Jenkins was getting starts for a little while. He played pretty well. Sasser, when he's been given the opportunities, has looked pretty good. Can say the same for Ivy. I think Sasser's okay to mix in, but I don't necessarily trust the minutes. We have him for 18. I think that's pretty reasonable. Could he play a little extra here? Certainly, but it would probably take one of Robinson or Ivy going pretty cold. So again, it's tough, man. It's just all these secondary plays. We have Green, we have Sasser, we have Holland, we have Ivy. I just think they're good, but I don't think I'd want more than one. And I think one of them probably gets there in a big way, but the other three are probably left in the dust. And there's really no projecting that until the game starts and we see how they're playing, which is obviously useless if you're listening to this for DFS info. But I don't mind mixing him in at low ownership. I think he's fine. He's cheap enough. Like, if the field's going to Ivy more, they're going to Holland more. Going to a little bit of Sasser isn't crazy.
Yeah, the only other thing I was going to mention with him is maybe he's also pivot off of, like, I don't know, a Svi Mikhailiuk or one of these other chalky Utah pieces. But he's more of like a 150 play for sure.
Yeah, and again, I tend to like Ivy more just because we've seen the ceiling out of him, but he's a bit more expensive. But yeah, I'm with you. Whenever Svi's chalk, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Pretty comfortable looking for pivots, and Sasser does kind of fit that mold. So good shout on that for sure. Sino here saying he likes Jovic on FanDuel. Yeah, he's been playing a little bit better lately. Again, with Bam back and where in the lineup, I don't know how many minutes we could count on him for, but 3 straight games over 20 minutes, 3 straight games over 25 fantasy points. If you want to play some Jovic, we didn't really talk about him. You think he's fine to mix in, but again, probably going to be coming off the bench. Detroit can play pretty big here, though, so a good shout from you, Sino. Appreciate it. And then, yeah, Unicorn also saying Thompson's been playing bad last few days. It's true. We got to have a short memory in DFS. He could bounce back, and if he does, he'd probably take some of those minutes away from these secondary options we're talking about. But 36% on FanDuel, I just wouldn't be playing him over there. I think that's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely too high.
Yeah, it feels way too high. Next game here at 8:30. Again, this game is going to be on both slates. We have the Philadelphia 76ers taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Beauchamp is out. I don't even know he was with them. Whatever. Embiid is probable. Still no Kelly Oubre. Trendon Watford's going to be out here as well. So they're getting Grimes back, I believe. Paul George is healthy. Edgecombe healthy. This team's pretty healthy, if we're being completely honest. Embiid has been really solid when he is out there. Minutes are no longer limited, I don't think. He played 38 against Memphis. I don't think we have to consider Embiid to be on a minutes cap anymore. And what that tells me is Embiid's a little bit underprojected. I really like his upside here. It's a pretty good matchup for him. And I think the price is too cheap. Like if we had him projected for 36 to 40 minutes, he should be like 10K on both sides. So to me, Embiid, one of the better plays on the slate. Really, really like him. I don't mind Maxey, but again, the more Embiid plays, the more that's going to cut into the ceiling of a Maxey, in my opinion. I wouldn't want both in a lineup, and I do prefer Embiid here of the two, but wouldn't argue with anyone if they're landing on Tyrese. Edgecomb's fine, but again, giving up some usage to these other guys. He did have a great game here against Memphis last time out. I think that went to OT, though. 5 for 10 from 3. I don't know how often he's taking 10 threes this season. That feels like a bit of an outlier. 4 steals that game as well. So if you want to mix in Edgecombe, fine. Just if you're game log watching, proceed with some caution. Grimes off the bench at low ownership, I don't think is crazy. But yeah, man, Embiid here for me. And shouts out to you. I mean, you were playing him before the field was, even when he was limited and getting some ceiling games out of him. Now that cap is gone, I think it's all systems go with Joel. I like him a lot tonight. How do you feel about Philly?
Yeah, man, I'm right with you. I love Joel tonight. Obviously, that game log's kind of bumped to the overtime game, but I think he still looks great here. Great matchup. Nick, we have the battle of the two softest bigs in the NBA, AD versus Embiid. But after Embiid, I think Maxey looks great in tournaments. And then Paul George, I'm going to take the L there. I played him last slate. He was horrible. Someone mentioned Pandemic P. He played like Pandemic P last game. So I'll probably be off him today. So it's mainly Embiid, maybe some Edgecombe, maybe some Maxey, but that's about it.
Yeah, right there with you, man. Again, really like Embiid tonight. Definitely going to be kind of a core play for me. He's popular, though, so if you are playing him, look to get a little bit different with the rest of your lineups. A few good comments here. 2G2 great, 6-7. Heat are 5th in defense past 4 games. Any worries about a floor game from Cade? Honestly, no. More so because of who he is. I don't know. And again, it's kind of a limited slate. Like, are you going to get 80 points out of Cade tonight? Probably not. But do we have enough value with the Jazz, with the Nets to get to him pretty easily? Like, if he's having a median game where he's 55 to 60, he could still be optimal. If it was a bigger slate, it may take me off a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it if I'm being completely honest. Any thoughts on that there, Jayhawk? Again, we try not to read too deep into player matchups defensively. Historically, it gets double counted for DFS. Which is never a good thing, but it is a good question nonetheless.
Yeah, I looked at that, but I'm not too worried. I saw the game total, and I was like 240, almost game total. I'm not too worried here.
Yeah, again, 240 point total. He's going to be doing a lot. If he has to pass a little bit more, still going to score pretty well. Shouts out Ronnie here. I didn't have the time to go through the popcorn machine for Detroit, but saying Sasser and Holland got extra runs because of the blowout. Ivy closed the game before that. And yeah, I think if Ivy's hot, they do like him closing. I also think LeVert getting hurt help boost the minutes for these guys, but that is a good comment. Again, I said it before, I trust Ivy over those two, but if you want to mix and match, I think it's fine. Probably wouldn't want more than one in a lineup. And jumping ahead to Detroit or Dallas here, Williams could play with Russell out. And yeah, I'll use that as an opportunity to segue into the Dallas Mavericks here, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. We have D'Lo questionable. He's been ruled out since, I guess?
Yeah, I think he's confirmed out.
Okay. Other than that, Cisse is doubtful. Exum, Kyrie are out. Miles Kelly doubtful. Derek Lively out. So, yeah, pretty interesting spot here for Dallas with AD available. I'd rather play Embiid for the discount. I do think he's too cheap on DK. I don't think it's crazy to jam both these guys into a lineup. It doesn't feel great, but at the same time, they're just underpriced for what they're capable of. And you're getting forward eligibility for AD on both sides. So if you want to kind of build that correlation, hope that game stays close. And the two softest bigs in the NBA kind of defy that stereotype, at least for a day. That wouldn't be so bad. Cooper Flag, I'm the king of the Cooper Flag fan club. I like him on DK. I think the price is too cheap at $7,400. On FanDuel, though, pushing $9K. It's probably just a no for me unless you're really looking to get different. PJ Washington back and healthy could cut into him a little bit. We had the comment here about Brandon Williams. With D'Lo out, I don't mind it. But keep in mind, Nembhard has been playing just as many minutes for the most part. I have to double check this. So Nembhard's been starting, but Williams has been outplaying him pretty consistently. 2 good games in a row from Williams. So I'm with that comment in the field. I would much rather be playing Williams than Nembhard, but it's Jason Kidd. He likes to mix up the guard rotations, proceed with some caution there. But again, with D'Lo out, I think they're both a little bit more appealing. But yeah, to quickly recap, this team's a little bit healthier than they have been. I like 80 on both sides, prefer him on DK. I like Cooper Flag on DK. I like Williams on both sides. He's a little bit too cheap. But that's pretty much it. Like the Christies, the Thompsons, like I don't know, they're boom or bust. I don't really feel a need to be mixing them in too aggressively. Jayhawk, how do you feel about Dallas here?
Yeah, so I'm with you. Like looking at the price point here, 80 is a fantastic play. So I think he looks great on paper. And then you mentioned it, no D'Lo. I think Brandon Williams looks pretty solid, but I do like that shot. Like we've seen them kind of troll with rotations. So I think Ryan Nimhard is a great pivot if you're not super high on Williams. And then Cooper Flag, man, I'm just kind of neutral on him tonight. Would rather get to 80 if I can, but no issues mixing him in as well. So it's mainly those three for Dallas here.
Yeah, they have him as small forward only on DK now. His position has changed more than I think anyone this year. It's funny, FanDuel point guard, shooting guard, small forward, pushing 9K though. Even with all the positional eligibility, he's just tough for me to get to over there. More comments here coming in. Sino asking about Javonte Green. We mentioned him in that group with Sasser and those guys. The bench rotations for Detroit are kind of tricky. I do think Ivy's the guy I would trust the most, but I do think Green is a little safer than Sasser and Holland, just given the minutes we have him projected for. You have any interest in Green here? Again, I don't want to play too much of these Detroit bench guys if I can help it.
Yeah, not much interest in Green for me, for the most part.
Yeah, Eason minutes. Unicorn, I think we have him for around 26. Don't quote me on that. And no, to answer the second part, does Adams Capella out help his minutes? Because Eason, for whatever reason, is one of these guys that never gets to play extended minutes. I don't know what it is. It's just been the way for him the past couple of years. Like he's going to be capped at 28, whether the game's close, whether it's a blowout, whether he's healthy or not. So no, I don't think it's a huge boost for him. It could help his rebounding and the usage a little bit. But again, I don't think it's a huge boost for him with those other guys out. Luke here, kind of on the same page as us, going with AD and Embiid, smash ball, small slate. Embiid won't be this cheap again for a while. Totally agree. Don't trust the minutes for AD coming off injury. Would rather play Flag. Yeah, I mean, it's always tough to trust AD. He played 10 minutes against Golden State that game he got hurt. That was on Christmas. The thing about AD is if he plays, I tend to think he plays full minutes. Like, they're not going to put him out there if there's any question about his health because he is on the trade block. Like, this guy's very important for this future, the future of this franchise, whether he sticks around or not. So I don't think they're going to put him out there for 20 minutes like we're seeing from Giannis or Wemby or anything like that. I think if he's healthy, he's going to play 30 plus. And if he's not, they're just going to completely shut him down. Could he re-injure himself? Yes, that would be the fear. But I think I'm pretty confident this game stays close. He's going to get over 30 minutes, so I don't think there's a cap on him there. But certainly a talking point worth bringing up, especially on a limited slate. So I appreciate you. Great. And yeah, both teams ranked bottom 20 in defense. Appreciate you bringing some of these stats here, 2G. Definitely welcome back anytime. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Jump in here regardless of who's hosting or who's talking. And yeah, don't sleep on Green and GPPs. They benched Stu for him last game. Yeah, that was a blowout though, right? And Stu's interesting because I don't know. He's kind of like Draymond, where you got to worry if he's going to get ejected or anything like that. Against the Lakers, who blew out who that game? Was it
Detroit? Blew out the Lakers.
Yeah, Detroit blew out LA, and LA doesn't have any bigs off the bench after 8, and so I think it was more just they could go small. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go to Green a little bit more, fine. If you want to come in under on Stewart, I think the matchup with Miami, though, it's kind of similar to when teams play Cleveland. They're so big that a guy like Stewart is probably going to see more minutes than he would against a team like LA, who kind of plays LeBron at the 4 a lot of the time, or Rui or whoever. So again, it's matchup dependent. Again, it's not an exact science. We're here trying to predict the future, but not a bad shot. If you want to mix in Green, I don't think it's crazy. Swerve. College football pissing them off. Yeah, I had a bet on the first half total. I think I lost. I got to check that. I'm with you, Swerve. These games have been pretty disappointing for the most part. Just not super fun. Not a lot of scoring, which sucks. But yeah, let's get into the next game here. 10 p.m. We got the Celtics taking on the Kings. Celtics favored on the road in Sacramento. Boston. Chris Boucher is available. I don't think he's really in the rotation. Jason Tatum's going to be out. A bunch of G Leaguers listed otherwise. So, again, a pretty healthy team here. Great matchup, though. I think you could get to Brown, White, or Pritchard and feel good about it. They're all good plays at their prices. They all have upside. It's just you got to kind of pick from that group. I don't know that you want more than one in the lineup unless you're really loading up on that game. Brown would be my favorite. Obviously, he's the most expensive, though. I think Pritchard point per dollar looks great. And then White's right there in the middle. So again, I think the data tells the story. The prices are pretty much reflective of where we expect these guys' ceilings to be. Then Keita has been playing really well lately. I do like him. I think he's still too cheap for his upside. The minutes have been a bit more consistent for him as well. Back-to-back games over 28 minutes for him. It's first time in a long time we've seen that out of him. So I do like Keita here. Great matchup for opposing bigs recently against Sacramento, obviously with no Sabonis. So all the starters here except for Walsh, I'll probably leave him out. I don't know. The minutes have been all over the place for him. They've been getting guys like Hugo Gonzalez into the rotation more. Luka Garza's been playing more minutes. Baylor Shearman, like these are not guys that I'm rushing to play tonight, but it's enough for me to not want to play Walsh as the starter. I'll say that much. But again, I like Brown, White, Pritchard, Keita. That's probably it for me as far as Boston goes. Jayhawk, how do you feel about this team?
Yeah, I think Boston looks great here in cash or tournaments, man. Great spot against Sacramento. I'm with you. I think Jaylen Brown, probably the priority here. Nick, he had 10 assists last game. Typically not Jaylen Brown style, but I think he looks great in this spot as a bounce back scoring spot. So love Jaylen. And then in terms of White Pritchard, I think they both are fine in tournaments. Great spot. And then the guy I really like here is Neemias Queta. 5,200 should get overlooked in tournaments. So love Queta in tournaments, love Brown. And then I think both the guards are great to mix in.
Yep, right there with you, man. Over on the Kings side of things, yeah, they have no Zach LaVine, no Domantas Sabonis, as I already mentioned. They've been playing pretty terribly for the most part. They've been mixing up rotations, too. I mean, Monk is in the rotation. He's out of the rotation. He's not going to start here. I really don't have much interest, but you can make a case for guys like DeRozan, Murray, Westbrook. I mean, Precious as a starter is cheap if you want to go there. But again, not a great matchup for these guys. I think the price decrease on Murray is pretty interesting. But again, I'm not crazy about him here. I don't know, man. I'm trying to find a king I like. I don't think there is one, though. How about you?
Yeah, man, it seems like every slate, whoever I'm on with, it's like tough to find something from Sacramento. It's kind of the same thing tonight. I'm with you. Like Keegan Murray, sure, he's fine on FanDuel. DeRozan, Westbrook, you can always mix in, but it's kind of a tough spot. I think I would lean maybe a DeRozan if I had to pick one, but not a spot I love targeting here against Boston.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm sitting here digging, I actually think Schroeder point per dollar is maybe the easiest to get to. But again, the minutes have been all over the place for him. If Monk's back in the rotation, it could cut to him directly. So proceed with some caution on that one. All right, we get the 10:30 game here now between the Jazz and the Clippers. And this game is DK only tonight. Usually the late games are only on FanDuel, so kind of an interesting situation here today. Massive spread, I think 14.5 points last time I looked. Jazz here, though, are benching a lot of guys. Ace Bailey's out, Keontae George is out, Walker Kessler out, no Kevin Love, Lauri Markkanen, Yusuf Nurkic, all going to be out. Projected starting lineups, Collier, Svi, Sensabaugh, Hendricks, Filipowski at center. The bench only has 4 guys, though. Clayton, Williams, Anderson, Toshibwe. I don't want any Toshibwe. I'll start there. Everyone wants to make this guy a thing. If he were to suddenly start, sure, go ahead and play him. Other than that, though, really no interest. Filipowski likely starting at the 5, probably my favorite play here. He looks solid. The price has come up on Sensabaugh, but so have the minutes and the projection, obviously, with all these guys out. I think he looks good. Collier, you could make a case for. Hendricks, you could make a case for. I think those 4 I have the most interest in. Walter Clayton off the bench, I will say I prefer him over Svi, but this is a bad matchup. The Clippers, since they got rid of Chris Paul, have suddenly been playing like the Clippers again. Really widespread here. It's kind of tricky. I think these are the best value plays, but there is some blowout risk. But with the rotations being so short and the bench being kind of gross with guys like Anderson and Toshibwe, I think these guys are going to have to play minutes no matter what. So it's kind of tough to get away from Utah and DK. If I'm ranking them, again, I'd have Filipowski first, then Collier, then Sensabaugh, then Hendricks, then Clayton, then Svi. But go ahead and let me know how you feel about the Jazz here taking on LA.
Yeah, I feel very similar to you, Nick. I think Filipowski looks fantastic here. Both sides in this game environment. So love Filipowski, love Collier. I'm with you. Those are kind of my 1A, 1B. And then Sensible is coming off a very, very bad shooting game. But I was talking to Chuck. He played 39 minutes last game, did not do anything in those minutes. If he's going to play heavy minutes like that again, love him in tournaments. So those three are my favorite. And then Walter Clayton, we haven't really had the chance to play a bunch of them, but he's really cheap. I think he's perfectly fine to get to. So love Clayton in tournaments. And then I think the big rotation here, Nick, Sheway and Kyle Anderson after Filipowski is just kind of a mess. So I think I'd lean Anderson, but I don't know, man. It's kind of difficult to kind of see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, Anderson's like the worst because he's a pretty good point per minute producer, but it's like if the game blows out, he's the oldest guy on his team, I think.
Yeah.
Like other than Kevin Love, obviously. Like they're not trying to give him extra minutes in a blowout. So I don't know. At the same time, if he plays 25 minutes, we have him for 18. He's probably going to hit value as easy as anyone here. So I think he's the widest range of outcomes. I don't mind mixing him in because he is min price, but again, he's down that list for me in terms of ranking. But yeah, the minutes for Sensabaugh seem locked in. Love Filipowski whenever he's a center, and with Zubac out, this matchup's a little bit softer than it usually is. So going over to the Clippers now, no Chris Paul, no Zubac, like I just said, no Bogdan or Bradley Beal. Splash Mountain, Brooke Lopez had that game where he hit 9 threes as a starter. There's other centers on the slate I like. You can mix him in, though. I don't think it's crazy. Kawhi has been playing out of his mind. If this game were to somehow stay close, I think his ceiling's ridiculous. He could probably even get there in 3 quarters. 32 minutes against Sacramento last time out. I believe that game was a blowout, 56 fantasy points. So shows that he has the upside if you do want to play him. Harden, kind of the pivot. I do prefer Kawhi. There's not a huge gap in ownership between the two. But those are the two I'm most interested in. I don't know that I want to kind of play the blowout game with this team. It's tricky. Yannick Niederhauser has been someone who gets a lot of fourth quarter run. Kobe Sanders, I actually think, has some talent. I don't mind mixing him in. But really, man, it's just Leonard here mostly for me. Maybe a little bit of Harden. I don't mind Lopez. I'd rather be playing Filipowski or Keita, though, so kind of tough for me to get there. But how do you feel about the Clippers here at home?
Yeah, so I'm kind of with you. So I looked into it a little bit more, Nick. They actually did give Kawhi one more stint in the fourth quarter in that blowout last game. So I think he should be pretty safe to get his normal production here. So I love Kawhi, obviously super chalky. I think Harden's great as well, but we touched on that. I think Embiid, Cade, Brown, we kind of like in tournaments. So no issues with Harden, but I think I might be a little bit lower than the field is here. And then, yeah, Splash Mountain, Brooke Lopez. That's going to be my new nickname for Brooke here. 5,200, 5,300. I think he's fine to mix in. I don't love it, but definitely another viable center. So that pretty much on the same page with you.
Yeah, shouts out Brooke Lopez, one of the best nicknames in the league. I love this guy. He's still the Nets' all-time leading scorer. I always bring this up. It's just baffling to me. You're going to have to answer this one, Jayhawk. I do not get the joke here. Are you still clapping Big Stacy's yams?
I have no idea what that is. I can't.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, G2 saying Kings 30th in defense. Obviously, great spot for the Celtics. Sino going back to Simons in that same game. Yeah, Hugo Cost, Unicorn big in a tournament. Yeah, he's been boomer bust, man. Really high ceiling when he's out there. Same for Luca Garza. Don't know that I want them in the same game. We do like Walter Clayton. I do prefer him over Svi. I'd rank him a little bit lower than some of these other guys. And yeah, too great. I do appreciate you bringing up all these matchup things. Like they do matter, the defense. But again, everybody is out for the Jazz. They're all very cheap. So even in a bad matchup, they're going to have to play. So there is upside there. If you want to get away from it, I don't think it's crazy. But again, they're the most mispriced players on the slate, even in a bad matchup. So just keep that in mind. Spinbrook checking in here as well. Appreciate you. Rockets versus Nets is on the FanDuel slate. Just to answer that question, Sengun is in. So that makes that easy. And yeah, definitely a tougher spot for the Nets now. Leonard's a lock here for 2 grade. I don't mind it at all. Was why Sengun got to play? He should sit out against the sorry Nets. The Nets have won a few games this month. I don't want to bring up the stats and try to defend this team because I want them to tank, but they've actually been a lot better over the past few weeks. So we'll see what happens there. Barlow or Christie, man, I don't know. I don't love either. Barlow's been okay. I guess Barlow. I don't know. That's a coin flip for me. Do you have a preference on that one, Jay?
Oh, man, that's both guys I don't love. If I had to choose, probably Barlow, but I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, the model has Barlow slightly higher, 6'1" compared to a 5'3", OF index. So we lean Barlow. We think the minutes are a little safer. Christie's shown some upside, but usually it takes a couple guys sitting for him to get there. Some of his big games have come without AD or Washington, so I think Barlow's a little safer. Can't say I feel too great about either. 80% Collier and 150. It's kind of aggressive, man. I will say we have him owned at 54. So yeah, I don't think it's crazy to have him in 80 if you feel good about him. I do think he's my favorite Jazz player after Filipowski. Who gets Steven Adams minutes? Probably nobody. I know that sounds stupid, but Jabari Smith could play a little bit of small ball five. We could see more Dorian Finney-Smith, who Jayhawk brought up earlier. I think it's one of those two. Maybe Reed gets a little bit of extra run. I don't know that there's anyone who's benefiting in a huge way, though, with Steven Adams out. Again, Steven Adams usually plays around 20 minutes. And Sengun's back tonight, so he's going to kind of fill in for what we've been getting from those backup bigs there for Houston. Thoughts on Hendricks? Kind of a low-usage player compared to the other starters. At the same time, I'm fine with it. He spiked upside against Memphis on the 23rd, 34 fantasy points in 26 minutes. Against OKC on the 7th, 31 in 24 minutes. Other than that, I mean, his usage has been around 10%. So he can spike an upside. I think he has a ceiling, but I think his floor is much lower than Collier, Sensabaugh, or Filipowski. So I don't mind him, but again, he's riskier than those other three, in my opinion. Neither, I'm guessing this is on the Krisky question. Is Sengun the best center play on FanDuel? I think it's Embiid, Jayhawk. Who are your favorite centers tonight?
Yeah, definitely Embiid. I think, I like Neemias Queta as well at 5,200. AD, I guess you could put in that conversation. Probably one of those guys.
Yeah, right there with you. Yeah, Queta, AD, those two look really good. Must plays. Spencer, we don't really do must plays, but we're going to do a dummy build on both sites. We're going to build our favorite kind of plays into those. You'll kind of see in just a minute. Yeah, Christie Ben's fine. A lot of Sengun talk here. Don't mind it. I'd prefer Queta over Lopez. I just trust the minutes and the upside a little bit more. You got to take on that one, Jayhawk?
Definitely Queta tonight for sure.
Yeah, and one more question, guys, and we will get into the dummy build. How many Jazz is too many, in your opinion? I think 3 feels good. 4 feels a little bit gross. I prefer 3, I think, in most builds.
Yeah, I think 3 is probably the ultimate route. I had a couple lines with 4, so I think you probably could get to 4, but 3 is probably where I want to be.
Yep, right there with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into these two sites. We're going to do dummy build on each. Again, Utah Clippers, DK only. Nets, Houston, FanDuel only. So we're going to show you our builds on both. On DK, I think we do start with Utah. We'll go ahead and get Collier, Sensabaugh. Is there a Filipowski, or are those the 3 we're kind of keying in on?
Those are my favorite 3, yeah.
Cool. I think we both wanted Embiid. Throw some names at me from here, man. We got 6'6" left per player, so we could kind of do a lot if we want to.
Could we fit in Kawhi? I know he's super chalky, but
yeah, I do like that. I think we jam him and see what we can do around it. Okay. Yeah, 5,600 per. We look at shooting guard. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Kez is crazy. Edgecombe's there. I mean, Ivy, very much boom or bust. But guys, to start, this is kind of the core for us, right? So these are our favorite plays. Man, is it Jaquez? Or I do want to fit Powell if we can. It might be tough with the other 2 spots though.
Yeah, if we go Powell, could we go? How much salary?
49 per, which isn't terrible. Let's go Brandon Williams.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, Williams, and then I think this lands us on Queta.
Perfect.
Close to it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful build.
Yeah, boom. Beautiful build right here. Like this a lot. So easy enough on DK. I don't mind leaving a little bit of salary. Not a slate where I think pricing's inefficient though. So probably want to use most of your salary here tonight. Houston and Brooklyn on this slate. No Utah game. Obviously, we got to keep that in mind. I don't know. Is there anything in this game we love? Like, is the Nets lineup out yet?
Let's double check that.
It should be.
It should be. Yeah, it is out. Williams, Powell, Clowney, Wolf, Claxton. So Powell and Wolf starting.
Wolf is starting?
Yep.
Wolf it is, baby. Let's get it. I think it's his first career start. Shouts out to Danny Wolf, the Hebrew Jokic, as some have called him. Let's see what else we got here. I mean, I do like Eason. I think his minutes are are what they are, even if this game blows out, I'd maybe plug him in.
Yeah,
Um,
I like Houston.
who else do we like on FanDuel as far as ownership? I mean, Cade looks good.
Stu, yeah.
Embiid. I mean, let me throw all three of them in and see where
Let's
we're
do
at,
it.
just for the sake of time. Are you doing Discord today, or is there even a Discord today?
I think it's either Smitty or Chuck, one of the two. It might be Chuck.
Okay. Yeah, I knew with the weird timing, I wasn't sure if we were doing that, but 6,800 per. I mean, we're in a pretty good spot. Cooper's kind of overpriced. I don't mind Powell.
Yeah, I think Powell's solid.
Yeah, let's plug in Powell again. Point guard. I mean, Pritchard feels pretty affordable. We have no Celtics, man. Maybe we go Pritchard.
I like Pritchard, yeah.
Yeah, I think point per dollar is pretty easy. Shooting guard. I mean, Edgecombe looks fine. Don't love Osser, if I'm being honest today. I could come back to bite me. We got Ivy. Who?
It's just typical without the Utah game in on FanDuel. It's making it tough for us to build.
Right. Did you have someone in shooting guard? Did I miss it?
Let's see. Just looking through, we already got Pritchard in there. We could go Ivy. It's difficult, man. Yeah.
It's like we're either going all the way up to Edgecombe or we're like down at Ivy. Like, I'll take the risk on Ivy in hopes we could pay up for something nice and power forward. And yeah, Porter's out, so it doesn't really work. Let's see here. We already got Eason, Barlow. I'd rather take a shot on Jovic than I would Ivy. I think he's a little bit safer. And then we're left with 8,300. We get White and Pritchard against Sacramento. So that's a pretty good build.
I
don't think it's crazy. I do love Danny Wolf starting now. I think that's going to be fun. Hopefully the Nets can keep it kind of close. Pretty bad matchup in general. But yeah.
What was Powell's price on FanDuel? Is he at an affordable price point?
He's 74. We have him in here.
I was saying that the Nets Powell.
Interesting. He's pretty cheap.
Could he get there? Like, I know you discussed him, but
yeah, 38. Starting. Yeah, like I said, I just don't know that he can play more than 26 minutes. He can get there at that price. So yeah, if you want to play him, maybe upgrade something else. I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I like that build. I think that's pretty solid.
Beautiful. All right. Let's see here. Any last second questions, guys? Appreciate you all tuning in today. Obviously, Happy New Year. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. Get behind the paywall. Get access to the model. Get in the Discord where we have someone going to the voice channel now up until lock. Any last minute changes, things like that. Will Jovic get a minutes increase? I think he's been playing more minutes. I don't think we're going to see more than the 25 or so he's been playing. But with Larson out, yeah, to your point, I think that kind of secures those. HGT, this is live, but we are wrapping up now. So if you got any last minute questions, try to get into the Discord or leave a comment on the channel. We'll try to get to you guys there as well. But appreciate everyone. Again, FanDuel slate locks early tonight and in just 13 minutes, DK an hour later. So good luck. Take care, everyone. Let's crush. Hope to see you posting screenshots in the Discord.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.